Good evening, friends, and we are back again with you, myself, Nagu Chidambaram and Geeta Nagu, for the fresh 2 chapters of the book today. And I would like to request Geeta Nagu to start with the announcement of the 2 chapters of the book, 15 New Life Mantras. Geeta, to you.
The 2 chapters which we are going to discuss today are the effect of global connectivity and your technology, what has happened post-COVID, and also the nature, how nature is rejoicing today. That is what we are going to discuss, Rajesh.
Very interesting topics.
Fantastic. So connectivity. Yes, Nagu. Absolutely, Nagu. Nagu would like to comment something before we begin.
Now you can get going. I mean, this is so much that everybody today feels, touches, and they really enjoy and celebrate. So much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's like the heart is singing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I feel connectivity, this word has become a very critical word in all our lives. What we are now at this moment world over, with people broadcasting every part of the world and people getting connected to broadcasts like these from every part of the world, has become the norm of the day. And in spite of being in isolation, we are absolutely not alone. We are with people, and that too with great geographical differences. So connectivity is a critical role. It is a part of infrastructure now, which is improving by the day. And see so many people coming in: Prabhu Raja, Murugavel, Mani, Saran, Ravi Salunke, Sangeeta Kamath, Prabhu Sudhakar, Praveen Rajput, all of these people from different parts of India and multiple countries of the world have joined in. This is an exact good example of connectivity. This situation of lockdown that we are experiencing for the last 45 days has really brought us all absolutely together. In fact, we have also started ideating on our thoughts and decisions, and we are coming out with smarter decisions that can impact us positively in the coming times. So I'm looking forward for some interesting and exciting questions related to connectivity. Connectivity does not only mean dependence on technology, but it is also the connectivity of thoughts and actions. So organizations are absolutely unfolding as we speak. Raghunath Kadam, Inspector Raghunath Kadam, good evening to you. Georgina Francis, there are fantastic people who are joining us. Devansha, very good evening to you. You are also watching our episodes every day, and the kind of response that we are getting is fabulous. I would like to thank all the people who are supporting our initiative. I would like to thank Namrata Thakkar from Entrepreneurs Excel. I would like to thank Rohit Rahul for Business Opportunities Club. I would like to thank Business World and Anurag Batra and the team who is supporting us in a very, very big way and making us reach across to the people. So friends, you can all start asking us questions related to global connectivity and connectivity by itself before we go to the next topic of nature, how nature is rejoicing in the current times. Friends, internet connectivity is critically important, and these are technological times. In these technological times, what are the technologies that can help you to perform and perfect your line of action in personal life as well as in business life? I would like to share my take, and then I would like to go to Geeta. But before I do that, the order of technology that I use is in this respective order. Number 1, the app that I use the most these days is Twitter, which has got the best thought leaders in the world. I use LinkedIn as priority number 2. LinkedIn helps me to understand office workings and a lot of corporate style of workings. Number 3 is absolutely YouTube, which gives me great content every part of the day, 24 hours. YouTube is the best professor that we have an access to because all content is available there. Point number 4, the app number 4 for me is Facebook, which is giving me great connectivity like how it is now, and sharing my thoughts at all regular times. And app number 5 is Instagram. Instagram is also definitely helping me to be connected with people, especially for people who do a lot of images and photos and designs and everything related to creativity. Apart from these 5 apps, that is Twitter, LinkedIn, your Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, the other apps that we are very aggressively using, of course, WhatsApp is like a language for the world. WhatsApp and Telegram. So Sandeep Warke is coming up with the first question. I'm planning to enter in farmhouse industry. Do you think that this industry is promising? Geeta, farmhouse definitely is a great industry. It's connected to something that we do, but I would like to take Geeta's opinion on that.
Yes, farmhouse industry is a fantastic. In what aspect you want to get in, I don't know. But farmhouse in terms of, because you're going to be holding the land and you will be developing the land, and the farmhouses in terms of, in Chennai, we have farmhouses. It develops in a place called ECR. In Mumbai, in the outer of Mumbai, which is very well connected to Mumbai, people are owning lots of farmhouses. In Delhi, people are owning farmhouses. Farmhouses is a very in concept. People always like to invest in farmhouses. It is a big wealth creator too. At the same time, it is a place of relaxation where you get to enjoy larger space of garden, vegetable garden, your farmhouse. And if you have, pets, and if you are into horse riding and several things. So all those hobbies and nature and health wise, it is very, very good. As well as it's a sector which is going to boom now. Everybody is going to buy a farmhouse. Everybody is going to buy a weekend house. Everybody is going to buy their villas, because after the COVID situation, people want to spend more on themselves. Number one, they want to spend more on the space they are going to live on normal days and on weekends. And that also becomes the best part of investment today and a great wealth multiplier. So farmhouse is a yes, yes.
Fantastic, Geeta. Thank you so much. Monisha Umesh has an interesting question. What are the good things that happened in this connectivity compared to before COVID-19? So Monisha, things have dramatically changed. Nobody was so accustomed to getting work done over the technology, over Zoom calls or video calls or even live conferences like this. But it has changed, and we have realized that we can still be productive being locked in one place. Our thoughts cannot get locked. Our actions cannot get locked. Our productivity, creativity cannot get locked. So this is this connectivity which has brought us together, and we are not only dependent on wired connectivity. Even our mobile phones today are so powerful with data and technology that whichever part of the world we are in, we are absolutely connected. People who are buying farmhouses and intending to live in the farmhouses also, with the mobile connectivity, can be connected to the whole world, and work can keep on happening. Nishanti has a question. What are essential technology can be used for improvement of productivity and boost for everyone? So there are plenty of technologies. Some of the ones that I discussed now, including the two apps on our mobiles, that is WhatsApp and Telegram. Yeah,
Yes.
Geeta.
The first is, I would say, connectivity, 5G connectivity, 4G connectivity, 5G, let it happen. But first is connectivity. Wherever we are, what it taught us now is we had to be reached. It could be work from home, work from remote places. We saw both the situations. We had a lot of our team going to remote places during lockdown, but we could not reach them, or they found it hard to be connected. So 4G became very, very important. That is the first primary most thing for connectivity. After that, the tools for efficiency we are using in our organization now called an app called Galam, which is really good, which is setting reminders, and which is for productivity, it is very, very good. See, for productivity, we use things like scorecard, and that is available in app also. So everybody's productivity matrix is all the time discussed. But along with that, we need reminders. People have to come into the habit of doing time management, doing things on time, and no procrastination, and being monitored and regularized. So for them to come into a habit, and we have multiple EODs and PODs and submissions and meetings and in and out. So Galam is a lovely app. I personally recommend that you should have it for the entire organization. Where
I think you should spell it for them. You should spell it for them. Galam is G-A-L-A-R-A-M.
Galam. Alam
Yes.
with a G. Alam with a G is Galam.
Alam with a G.
Yeah, Alam
Yes.
with a G is a Galam. And it's a fantastic app for the whole organization. You can set it up, and it's very, very effective. You should start using that immediately.
Fantastic. Nago, what's your take on that? What is the technology that you used to be connected to all your teams?
I think WhatsApp is the safest format, and that's what we're all doing. And then the one that's now hit everywhere is Zoom, and that's where we're going. And it was very interesting to understand that Zoom, just 30-40 days ago, they had 10 million users. Now they have 200 million users, and that's what is happening to Zoom. It's like really zooming through, and everybody is today preferring to work on that format. That will go on to our next question by Ravi Salunke, Physical Connect and Connectivity through Technology. I think it's a very interesting question, how one should use both effectively to achieve maximum reach. I would suggest use Zoom, or for that matter, any other face-to-face kind of a mode where you stay connected and do all of the activities through that, because you save your time, your travel. You can have more number of people on it from different locations. So it's not location specific. In case you're in a given industry and you need to have other technology people, other team people, let's say your quality team, your new product development team, your site team, whatever should be the design team, they could all be there on the same call, same connect, on the same page, and you'd be able to share so many things by discussing a particular drawing with the client. You don't have to really say, okay, I want you to look at this, I'm going to courier this, or look. No, you really get to go face to face, understand the reactions, the mindset, thought process, entire explanation, walk through, everything is done. And after all of this, if a physical connect is required, then approach that. Otherwise, it can always be substituted because so much of work can happen without resorting to a physical connect. That's what we have all realized of late, which
Fantastic.
means we should understand what's the best utilization we could do to our time. I started telling everybody, if we can do a particular work in about an hour's time, we now need to improve it to 45 minutes. An hour's work has to be improved to 45 minutes, then your efficiency level has improved. How do you do it? You do it by using all of these technologies that's available, and you start moving into your team, asking them to do whatever they're supposed to do. They connect up with you, and then you connect up with the client, to the supplier, to the contractor, to anybody. But then everybody is working at the same time. Individually and collectively, you will be able to shorten the time. And that's technology and connectivity.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nagu. Ravi Salunke, this question is very important. Physical connect and connectivity through technology. How can we use both effectively to maximize the reach? So, Ravi, a lot of new scenario is coming out in the industry now. People are thinking of staying on the outskirts of the city and being connected to the city. So that is a new trend which is coming up, and people have realized that even at home you can be productive. A large segment of the working class people are going to be doing this, that they would like to come to the city only 2 to 3 times in a week. Balance time of the day, they will be at home being more productive, no travel time, no congestion. So the physical connectivity is helping them to stay away. The road connectivity, you can access the city within 1.5 to 2 hours, or 1 hour or 3 hours. At the same time, because of technology, you are absolutely connected to the furthermost part of the globe. So you can be sitting in a absolute remote place and being connected to an office in New York.
Very true.
Doesn't matter.
And Prabhu Raja.
Now this,
yeah, I think Prabhu Raja has got a good question coming up. We're facing little connectivity issues with Rajesh's
tandem is going to make mankind absolutely productive, and people are now become accustomed to this connectivity of physical distance and global.
I think Rajesh is having, so this is a good question to take. So Geeta, would you like to handle this question?
Yes, so Prabhu Raja, you're so right. And the best apps, which all entire organization, we are completely leveraging this. Zoom video conferencing has become the norm of the day today. Without video conferencing, I can't even imagine. Only in 40 days, we became dependent and used to this. Now we are all so used to this, we can't imagine life without your video conferencing. See how a crisis is moving us towards something which become a part of our life. So similarly, Google Docs, when you're working on video conferencing and when you're working on remote working, when you're going to have remote working people, that is also going to be the norm. And work at home is going to be the norm. Then video conferencing is the bridge. For that, Google Drive Docs and your various tools, your Galam, your Olo CRM, if you're having a sales department, and all the calls recording there, so that for training and quality purpose, when you're going to have evaluation. So then remote working and work at home and everything becomes a norm. And now all of us have a work at home policies made and sent to our team, and evaluation and matrix also made in that. So everything in the last 40 days has changed. Technology has become a partner in business. Technology has become a partner in our life. Technology is what has saved us even in this crisis globally. So technology is a lifetime partner for us. People who were resisting it, who were slowing it down, have no option. We've all pedaled up in the last 40 days. And by, by leaps and bounds, we are all progressing. And connectivity is an issue which will also get parallelly addressed. And that is the way forward. Now
so I think we should now move to the next topic.
Yeah, which is
the next topic is nature. Nature is rejoicing.
Yes, absolutely. This COVID-19 situation is all about nature. And what happened, it was a dysfunctional relationship we had with the nature. And that is why the COVID-19 even happened. And it is the loss of wildlife and deforestation. It is all the dysfunction we had to do with the nature. So now all this has given us so much of awareness that we are going to be in tune, because nobody wants to go through all this ever again. And we've all learned it through a living lesson, life lesson, by loss of so much of life. by the economic, doldrums and loss of jobs and huge calamities. So now we understand that nature has to be treated with lot of care and lot of attention.
I would think that this is more like a trade-off, because let's do a quick trade-off analysis and see where we are. Basically, a trade-off analysis concludes both the positive and negative impacts of human intervention on nature and observes the way a situation changes when there is one or more things that move up or move down. So it's basically an exchange, what you're giving and what you're taking. Are you giving more and taking less, or are you giving less and taking more? This trade-off is seriously something that needs to be considered, to be borne on top of the mind before any decision is being taken. And I personally feel that this crisis is because of nobody looking into this kind of a trade-off. The strong collaboration of science, including economics, natural sciences, zoology, ecology, everything, you assess, you quantify it, the losses, the gains across stakeholders over the present and the future. Given the variety and intensity with which nature and human beings impact each other, if we can understand this, and then we start saying, okay, so this is how much we will be able to take, and beyond this, we should not be taking. Because unfortunately, what's happened is we've been taking without really considering what needs to be given. We've just been ripping off forests. We've been ripping off the seaside. We've been removing most of the things, and we've been removing the livestock. All of this we kept doing without understanding that sometime it's going to come back, and it's going to come back with a fury. And that's exactly what we're facing now. During this lockdown, you have some really amazing things that you get to see. A lot of you people would have witnessed it, or at least seen it on the WhatsApp videos that goes about it. You're able to see the bottom in Italy, in Venice. You're able to see the bottom of the rivers. It's so clean. You're able to see the Taj Mahal so clean. There is no pollution anywhere at all. And all this is because of the lockdown. Now, this is not a permanent affair, but if we can have some thought, if we can apply some thought into this direction, and if we can be more responsible towards what we wish to take, not just the monetary small-time benefits or small-term benefits, the long-term, which is actually intangible, which you cannot see today, but you'll need to look for the next generation. If you can keep that in mind, you as in all of us, every step that we take, it's not that which part of the boat you're sitting in to drill a hole. You're going to drill a hole in the boat, and everybody in the boat are going to sink, irrespective of whichever side you're going to be sitting. So don't drill a hole. That's about it. You can be in whichever part of the world. You can be in the US, you can be in Middle East, you can be here in India, you can be wherever. Just be that one bit cautious. Therefore, you take care of nature, nature takes care of you.
And
Rajesh, good to see you back.
Yes.
And if you can add to this, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, Tanuja's question was how to preserve nature. It is only the 3 R's, Tanuja. We have to reduce, we have to reserve, and we have to recycle. Whatever we use, it could be energy, it could be water, it could be waste management. Everything has to be with this thought. So once we conserve that, we all have the responsibility of conserving energy, and from now onwards, we will do it very, very diligently, I'm sure, after this experience.
Fantastic. So that is a very nice question from Sushant Raurane. Nature is rebooting in this lockdown time. It is a big lesson to human beings that we need to maintain balance between human and nature. What changes do you suggest to maintain this balance? So lots of decentralization needs to happen. The cities need to get decongested. A lot of people need to move out of the cities to the nearby areas, and we cannot get into vertical developments beyond a particular point. We need to limit the heights of developments that are happening so that people get dispersed horizontally rather than collecting in one place vertically, which leads to pollution, which leads to traffic jam, which leads to bad waste management. So in this, government is taking a very strong decision and very stringent measures on how this can be implemented, of the decentralization of how infrastructure can be spread. I
think we have a challenge again on Rajesh's connectivity. So we can continue with this. Rabi Salunke, being major cities crowded beyond limit, what should be done to develop small, smart villages to improve living? Will that culture increase after this pandemic? Fantastic, Rabi. That's exactly what we were all talking about. This is surely going to happen, because the more you start looking at work from home, the more you're going to say, let me stay away. And when you stay, why do you stay within the city? or where do you stay
मिल
in
गया.
the city?
Mobile निकालना
When
है
you
इसमें.
stay within the city or in the city, you're looking at only access to your work. That's your major thing. Now, have you all thought of one very important thing? Whoever is located in the city has a very small dwelling or a living space. When they're spread out, when they move out, all of you people, when you have your village houses are much more bigger than your city houses. A city house in Chennai is much bigger than a city house in Mumbai. Why? Because of congestion. That's all is the space that's available. Everybody wants to get into that. Now, once you move out of it, you have more space, you have more lung space, more living space, and that's possible. It's not just a pipe dream. It's possible today with the technology, with connectivity, and because of the work from home concept. And everybody's happy doing this. The entrepreneur is going to be happy doing this because he saves that space. He saves that time for you to commute and come back. You instead get more productive. He gets all of this out of you. And you don't have to travel. So that's great. And you get to use your own home as your office. And once you're done with it, you have your own time with your kids, your family. So it is going to improve. And all of this is going to break barriers. It's going to make the place much less polluted. And I think we have crossed the 21-minute slot here. We said 20 minutes we will go. And unfortunately, Rajesh has connectivity issues and hence he's not able to join us and sign off. But thank you very much for staying put with us. We're going to meet up with you all tomorrow evening at 4:15 p.m. And this is Nagu Chidambaram signing off.
This is Geeta Nagu. See you tomorrow and sharp 4:15. And let us all preserve nature. And with that note, I want to end. See you tomorrow.